Oh yeah, Rumble.
You don't, well, Rumble, but you don't have to feel bad. Like, I remember whenever you cast Legion, you'll always say probably, and you'll just think in your head probably, and you're like, no, I didn't
No.
need to say a pun. I didn't say it. Now it's not an issue. Probably's not playing tonight, so
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it.
No, it's a non-issue tonight. So Rumble and Legion actually banning the Alistar against themselves.
Well, they know Dignitas has the first pick.
They
so
do. Yes, they
Dignitas
do.
will gladly take Alistar if he's available.
Absolutely, they would. And yeah, he's a messy dude to deal with. You know, he's very versatile in either the support or the jungler role, and that's what he does. He if you're not out of position, he will put you there. And you saw that game number 2. We did really well. The rest of the band's coming out real quick. Malphite, Janna, and Shen.
I think it's interesting, though. I don't know, how many of you guys remember this, but Alistar, no one used to play Alistar, and Reap, there's a guy, Reap, who he was the only person who played Alistar, and he was really well known for his Alistar play, and Riot, when they changed Alistar, they actually talked to him, and they're like, hey, Reap, give us these inside scoop. Let us know what you think of this remake and everything like that. And he got angry over some of the changes. He was like, oh, you're ruining Alistar, you're ruining him. And since then, we've seen Alistar has just been so strong consistently. They've had to nerf him multiple times. But, it was definitely a really exciting change. I'm trying to remember what some of the things were. I know he used to get movement speed from his ultimate, I think. He didn't have quite as much damage. You couldn't, really do ability power as easily. That was a long time ago. That was almost 2 years ago.
I think it did. I'll have to look up on the wiki because I don't even remember that myself. But
his trample was the new passive there.
Yes, it was. That part I do remember. It's just everything else is kind of hazy there. But here you go. First pick for Dignitas gonna be the Corki. Now TF is open. Vladimir is now open, and let's see who else. I think those are the only two changes here. Yes, yeah. So Vlad and TF are open and available, but Yorick being considered here for Legion. It worked out. Dignitas got a hold of him game number 2. It did something, but I think will Legion be able to make something happen here if they decide to pick him? And it's still pretty early on to pick him.
The big thing is 2 of Crumb's strongest champions are Vladimir and Yorick, and they saw how much damage Yorick could do last game. So they're like, we don't really want to go up against a Yorick. So Cruiser can grab Yorick. Crumbs, he could also grab Vladimir, but Yorick does very well against Vladimir, so it will be a generally even lane matchup, but Yorick has actually a slight advantage there. He can bully around Vladimir a little bit, particularly early levels. So we'll see if Dignitas decides to go for that. They have the Corki versus the Ezreal matchup, and we'll be able to check that out.
So so Yorick and Ezreal will be picked up there. Soraka is still open. So I'm wondering if Dignitas may, go with what they've done before.
I'd personally like to see. I'd consider a Nunu or a Sona here. And Soraka is very strong, but they're just a little bit more versatile as far as supports are, and give a little bit more to team fights. And we saw Sona in game number 1 work out pretty well for them. And Sona, in a lot of matches, can win you games, and we've seen that in the past. The nice thing with the Soraka is it would counter out the Ezreal in lane. They wouldn't have to. The armor buff would definitely make it a very easy lane, but they could probably go something a little bit more aggressive. They could even go a kill lane if they like, and go with like a Terran would be a very strong pick for them.
Yeah, and also just to keep the Soraka out of enemy hands as well, because Soraka and Ezreal can be a very huge pain to deal with. But it will be the Sona and Skarner being picked up here for Dignitas. So I heard a little rumbling that Skarner has been pretty popular with Dignitas lately.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier. Skarner was very, popular in the the Asian scene, and now Dignitas bringing it back. So they've grown to like Skarner, and I don't know, it works out nicely. It's similar to some of the other junglers that Dominate likes to play, in that you have a tanky AoE clear, and he likes playing like Mundo, in particular. Really aggressive early gankers, but Skarner, he's very different in the sense that you just AoE farm the jungle, but then you have a single target CC. You just pick up a kill. You're very consistent about that, and with the movement speed buff that Sona has, that's actually a really nice form of initiation potentially, to have the movement speed from Sona and a Shurelya's and a flash. You jump on top of someone, take them out. So we'll see how that'll work. But Taric for Legion, I really like this pick because Taric if they can get the hop onto Sona and get the stun there, then very quickly Ezreal can burst her down, and they can maybe pick up some kills. But Taric also gives them the regen, so it's a kill lane plus. It's a little bit of a bonus, some icing on the cake.
Yeah, not to mention if Skarner comes in for that gank, it's like, well, here's a little ball of ice to your face that's gonna stun you, and it's gonna keep bot lane pretty safe for Legion. Not to mention it's a stun on a support. It's an amazing tool, initiation, defensive, otherwise. But you even have this Amumu now, who's just that ult can do a lot of work, especially against a team like Dignitas, which maybe looking to hard initiate most of the time.
Yeah, Loud Immortus, he has played a lot of Amumu in the past and is very strong at Amumu. It's just kind of concerning because their team is very unusual right now, and Yorick doesn't pair well with Amumu at all. Ezreal's okay, it's not the greatest, but it works. But the concern is if Amumu is going to be this really aggressive AoE initiating champion, and then they don't have the damage to follow it up. But Crumbs is going to pick up Vladimir, so that's kind of what we expected to see in the top lane. And then actually going with the Kassadin, and this is a combo that we've seen many times from Legion, but it was when Prolly was playing with them, not with Wild Turtle. So we'll see. This might be Prolly in disguise playing as Wild Turtle. that Kassadin pick, Legion's become very well known for it, but I don't know. It's going to be difficult for them to get off to a good start against Dignitas' team.
Yeah, Kassadin has been a very common pick for Legion. They love that dude. He's one of my favorites as well. But going up in mid up against an Anivia can be a little bit tricky. Especially before 6, before Kassadin really gets truly mobile, before he has a huge global presence with that rift, with that walk. He can go ahead and just gank any other lane. But he's got an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, the melee versus ranged harass, he will be at a slight disadvantage there, but the best thing with Kassadin is he's strong against every AP champ, and Anivia is no different. So if Anivia tries to get off the Flash Frost, which is one of the biggest things Anivia is going to use for harass, you get the auto attacks, and then when Kassadin goes in for a last hit, you go, okay, he's in mid-animation, I'll get the Flash Frost. All of a sudden, Kassadin turns in, throws off the silence, so even though he gets hit by a little bit of damage, Anivia can't get the stun off. And so that's one reason why silences like Soraka in the mid lane works so well against Anivia, because she can't get off her combo. So we'll see how that'll work. It's interesting because Cruiser, he can control the top lane pretty well against Crumbs. He has a slight advantage there with Yorick. He's actually going with the teleport so that he can help his team down bottom, and so they have the mobility to maybe pick up some kills early.
Yep. So, but one of the big things against Yorick too is that someone like Vlad, with an equal amount of ranged harass, it becomes like a huge harass war. It's like, I bet my ghouls can do more than your dinky little blood hands. What can they possibly do? But it's both of them though, they're looking to just passive farm, and I
just realized something, and this is a completely random thought. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
You said his blood hands.
Hands.
I just went, oh, Vladimir is Super Meat Boy grown up. He's not at all, but
Meat Boy has no skin. That's his whole deal.
I know he has no skin, but you said blood hands.
These bloody hands. His bloody hands. But yeah, that's the thing. Crumbs, when you see a Vlad taking heal, that's just like, okay, they're looking to passive farm. They're just looking to go into mid game, go into late game. They're not going to be all too aggressive. So top lane more than likely just going to be a farm fest, and just whenever Cruiser's needed, is like when you call me, I shall be there, and that is the teleport.
I'll be there.
No, we're not doing that. No.
I'll be there.
We've already educated these people unwillingly. We're not going to serenade them.
I'll serenade them all I like. But Dignitas, yeah, they have a very strong AoE team, and they also have lots of CC to control the fights very easily. So their team fights, are just phenomenal. Like they can control fights very well. The issue is going to be how are they going to shut down Kassadin, and they might not even have to. If they can beat the rest of Legion, Kassadin might just have to run for cover. But if they get like a Skarner ult on Kassadin, that could be devastating. So just completely shut Kassadin out. The big thing is not allowing him to get any early kills and not allowing him to snowball. And then Dignitas should win the fights pretty easily against Legion's team. But Legion, they're very tanky, and then they have both Ezreal and Kassadin in the back line to have that great mobility and try and pick up kills for them.
Yeah, Kassadin, one of the biggest things. Yeah, actually, I'm interested to take a look at a room page for something I might build for myself, actually. You got the Magic Pen, you got the AP, and you got a fair amount of mana regen on him as well.
So pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, nothing really nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. But yeah, Caston, he does rely on, one, hitting 6 so he can actually be mobile, and 2, getting that farm, getting those kills, just so you can actually go ahead and get into deeper AP items. What?
This is Skara's page here. I was just curious for a second how Skara would play against Kassadin as Anivia, because it is a tough matchup for Anivia to a certain extent, but you do have great auto attack range, and Anivia's auto attack range is like 600. It's one of the best things about Anivia. 15 physical damage on Anivia. So Skara starting off as AD Anivia. What are the masteries? 21-0-9. Kind of to be expected there, but going with the attack damage as opposed to the ability power. So just going for massive auto attack harass on Kassadin. That's going to be thrilling to me. I am really excited to see this, because now all of a sudden it shifts the balance back into Anivia's favor in the early game, and Anivia doesn't need any ability power. Anivia doesn't need anything. That's one of the nice things about Anivia is that you can win the game with whatever items you feel like, and that's why Froggen can go tank Anivia. But AD Anivia, I mean, he's not going to clearly build AD for the whole game, but in the laning phase, if he can shut down Wild Turtle, this game could be over for Dignitas, but without Legion ever being able to put up a fight.
Yeah, and this solves the problems you were mentioning before, because when you get that stun off, you do have to deal with the silence and retaliation from Caston. They're like, well, I'm here, I'm silenced, I guess I'll just have to auto attack you.
Here's another thing to consider. Anivia, yes, there's the silence, but Anivia has such great auto attack range and all that damage. Kassadin didn't get armor. And he didn't get armor on runes or masteries because he's expecting to just have a safe kind of farming lane against an AP Anivia, and he is going to be incredibly surprised. 69 damage at level 1, so even with Corki almost. So Anivia, Skara, AD Anivia is going to be very strong.
Yeah, we will definitely see how interesting this gets very quickly, and Kassadin's in for a rough time. Wild Turtle, he's got a huge hill to try and overtake. Then we'll see how that goes from here. You do have Legion, Sans Tarek going on over to Ridge, Ghoul into the river. Cruiser does get vision right now. Dignitas, they are mobilizing over towards the race and towards the red. Crumbs leading to charge, looking to try and get some free harass down on whoever sticks out a little bit too far. And there you go. You got Cruiser continuing with those ghouls to get the vision he needs. But there has been a ward placed successfully over by the Wraiths from Dignitas into Legion's jungle, and Legion, they're taking this opportunity to go ahead and try and camp out the side brush here.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're taking the aggressive stance when they have a Mumu. So a lot of times you kind of sit back and play defensively with the Mumu, and you're like, oh, we're scared, we want to hold the blue. But they're going to be fine with just taking the aggressive stance and pressuring back Dignitas so that Dignitas doesn't have an opportunity to pursue them. They wouldn't anyway, because Legion has such a great level 1. And the silence at level 1 is phenomenal. Couple that with Ezreal's burst damage, and all of the damage that they have can be very strong. So we'll see how much they help them when they do go back to that blue. Vladimir, he thinks he's been watching. He thinks he's had an eye out, but they were already in there. So Crumb's missing out, and they will be able to steal some of this jungle.
There you go. The Wraith spawn, Lattimore should be able to grab those pretty quick with a little bit of help from the Yorick as well. So they're already going to take the whole camp. No, they're going to leave the 1. They're going to be jerks, but here we go. We got 4 members of Legion looking to assist and take this red. Ghouls for safety. Make sure that no one's around nearby. And Inubish holding the point. Recalling, playing the guard, playing the ward, has Lattimore and Cruiser take that red. You got to hurry up a little bit, though, because Skarner just finished at blue. Where is Dominate going? I think he's actually going to be heading towards top lane. I think he may actually be going in for a red steal of his own.
Yeah, and he's going to have plenty of time to do it. So if they expected that was the case, I think he might only be going for these wraiths, though. So we'll see. But they do have the dual lane top, so they'll have to watch out for that. It is 2v2 top. And one of the nice things with the Amumu path is it's expected that Amumu needs that early blue, but you can actually jungle without it as long as you plan on getting it immediately after. And so he starts off with the E as opposed to the W, and it actually is better for dealing damage to both to the Wraiths without taking much health. Dominate will be able to steal this, so he's able to get the red because Amumu wasn't there yet. And actually, Wild Turtle walking right into him will take a lot of damage before he can get out.
So, now here's the thing with Dignitas and their invade. Patoy was with Dominate. to play, the nice roles. Like, I will stick by here. I will stick with you. And Legion, they had that notion that this was possibly going to happen again, just like what happened in game number 1. So they put the ward down over by the red, and they're like, you know what? We'll send our AD and support up top too, just in case that happens. We'll try and capitalize on it. But they didn't. They did not manage to catch out Dominate.
Yeah, so it is a nice exchange for them, but Dignitas taking full advantage of it. Legion, they have the nice advantage of Yorick versus Vlad still, so they can, bully around Crumbs a little bit in that lane, but they do have to watch out for the Taric stun, from Legion. So we'll see, how Dignitas can control this lane. The big thing is, I guess I'll just keep an eye on it, is how much damage can Anivia do to Kassadin, and whether you can wear him down. Oh, Dominate almost trying to get in that bottom lane, but can't quite get there.
Yep, so there's the silence coming in from Wild Turtle down onto Skara, forcing the bird to start drinking that first health potion. But here's Skara has successfully managed to push Wild Turtle to the tower, and with that auto attack range and with that extra damage, it's going to be a little bit easier for Skara to farm here under enemy tower without ever needing the ult, actually. But Latimortis is getting in position, does have the double buff. And Wild Turtle is, it's totally safe. Bandage Shots forcing the flash. That is one summoner down in mid, successful gank.
Yeah, and it is going to push back into him. So Skara playing defensively for a second, recognized that a gank was probably imminent. Really nice job reading the psychology of his opponent. So, being able to pick up on those kind of signals, he's able to take that. And because they hadn't really seen a Mumu in a while. But, he's going to be safe now. It does kind of stink not to have his flash, but we'll see how they can continue to play. And Crumbs actually pushing Cruiser underneath this turret, and then getting an opportunity for himself to go back. So we'll see what he picks up if he decides to go for any armor, maybe a Doran's Blade. The stun from Taric, QTPie is able to back off this, so minimizing the damage from Demon Law.
Yeah, that's the Stucky part thing, too, about being a Taric against the Corki. It's very much like, you have champs like Sivir. They have the spell shield in response to the stun. You have the right reaction time. That thing, it does take a little bit of time to travel and actually get to you and stun you. Plenty of time for QTPie to react, Valkyrie away, get the safety, and minimize the damage coming from Legion.
Yeah, and Vladimir making his way back in the lane. Skarner, in the meantime, coming up in this top lane. This could open up a nice opportunity for Dignitas because he has the red buff, the flash in from Patoy with the exhaust, and Demon Lull in a terrible position will go down very quickly. There's the first blood. Nice. So really nice play from Dignitas.
Yeah, Dominate came around the long way, and while Inubish, they did have the ward in the river, they did not have it in their own Tri-Brush. And, they know how Dignitas has been trying to go all up in their business, in their own jungle a lot of the time. I think it could have been expected, despite their fantastic warding that they had game number 1. They had both the Tri-Brush and the river warded. I'm surprised he didn't have the same coverage here.
Yeah, and actually Legion, they saw Skarner walking up, so Skarner stole the big Wraith, but Latimortis coming in onto Scar. They have Wild Turtle follow up.
Nice.
Perfect Flash Frost, though. Gets some quick burst damage. He will be egged, but Wild Turtle has to get out of there. He forced the flash out, and he is very low. Dominate, holding guard, not allowing anyone near that egg.
Skara has revived. Everything's fine. Egg's going to be down for a few minutes, but you just go ahead and, just don't die. Take some aspirin, call me in the morning, you'll be fine. But Skara is now 6. Can go ahead and clear those waves pretty efficiently. Crumbs getting chunked out huge by the ghouls here in bot lane, and Cruiser continuing that harassment. But Crumbs, he can sustain pretty well on his own. How much gold does he have? He has 1 tome, but does he have he's working on it. He's almost to his revolver.
Yeah, it's just going to be a tough lane for him, and that's always the case. Yorick, it seems like he always wins the matchup versus Vladimir. Like it's a common matchup, and Yorick is very, very strong at harassing down Vladimir. So we'll see, how successful Crumbs can be later on if he's forced to go into any defensive items. But Cruiser just able to keep on walking up and spam those abilities. Once he gets a tier in particular, that's going to be even more dangerous. But actually, Crumbs, I just actually noticed he took heal as one of his summoners, and so a very defensive summoner. You lose out on killing potential, but he just uses it not even in the middle of a fight, just so that he's high enough in lane to sit there and farm.
You might as well. I mean, it's just, I'm hurting a little bit. I have this Band-Aid. Might as well use it just so you can go ahead and get that cooldown later on for later in the day. And remember that Vlad, all of his abilities, they do cost health, so he's going to be needing some of that in order to continue his farming and not be just harassed to death down there in the bot lane. QTPie and Patoy, they're pushing pretty well. Just trying to force the Ezreal and the Taric to their own tower. Skara looking for that stun. Wild Turtle is 6, does have the Rift Walk. So now things get interesting in mid, because here Wild Turtle's finally mobile. He can finally do something a little bit more than just stand there and take stuns, which is a matter of what you do with it. Lattimore is going to go ahead and pass him the blue, which is a very vital thing on Cassidy and on Anivia.
Yeah, and he has the great mobility, but the issue for Legion right now is I will dominate coming up in the top lane. If he can get in there and get that pull, he could be very strong.
Oh, he has 6.
Anivia is backing off. They do actually catch Anivia in the ward, but we'll see whether or not Wild Turtle starts making his way up top.
Yeah, and that Q coming from Cassidy lets Dignitas know, like, okay, that's where, there you go, dominate with the quick pull down on the Demon Wall. That's all she wrote. That was real quick and really good job there from Dignitas.
Yeah, not even able to get off the arcane shift, just able to take him down in the middle of the suppression. So that's incredibly powerful. And Dignitas takes a 2-0 lead. They can push down this tower as well a little bit. Wild Turtle getting some nice damage onto Skara, but Skara always retaliating. Really nice job.
It's 3 auto attacks. 3 auto attacks every time he goes in for just a last hit on a minion in melee range. Skara can go ahead, get all that harassment down, and just really make Wild Turtle regret. It's like, man, I should have just never gone for that last hit.
Yeah, and Vladimir, he does have that revolver now, but actually farming the golems to try and keep up in farm, to try and keep ahead of York before he has to go back into that lane. So we'll see, what's going to happen on the next blue. In the meantime, Skarner, he did hold on to their blue so that he can, be a little bit faster in the jungle, which is very nice. Anivia doesn't really want to push against Kassadin, so you don't need the blue on Anivia in this situation. But Inubish almost taking down Cutie Pie. He throws off the cleanse. The flash from Inubish can't quite get in there, so they will be fine. So Anivia, usually you would want the blue, but in this situation, you're just planning on farming, and you don't need to AoE clear to push Kassadin into lane, because Scar wants to sit back safely underneath the turret. So he's fine with giving that up to Skarner to give them that jungle lead.
Crumb's getting pretty harassed here, throwing down the ult down to Cruiser, and Cruiser does that in response as well. So Crumb's getting hugely chunked out here, but you got 2 Yorks to contend with here. Cruiser getting very low, looking to just heal, looking to stick around, but there you go. Both of the ults are down here bot lane. They're pretty even in life, just trying to see if they can make anything happen here. A jungle presence from either team would be immense here for bot lane to try and secure those kills with 2 champs so very low. But we'll see where it goes from there. Wild Turtle getting some... Now he's taking a turn at trying to get some harass down onto Scar here. He's like, hey, you got your range, I can do it there. Nice! Gets the egg, though. Wild Turtle...
He killed himself.
Wow.
I don't know if he realized that the egg had come back up. Because I just looked at it a second ago, and it was up. But there was the fight earlier, so I don't know, he thought he was maybe going to get the kill, or just trying to force the egg. Maybe he thought he was only going to take 1 turret shot. Instead, he took 2.
Yeah.
It was enough to take him down, and Scar now has a blue buff. And in the meantime, Skarner's setting up bottom for Cruiser.
There you go. There's the pull, keeping Cruiser slowed. There it is. There's the hook. There's the suppress. Cruiser's taking a whole bunch of damage here from Crumbs and from Dominate, and Vlad will go ahead and pick that one up. Finally, some jungle presence down here bot. That was definitely something needed for either team, and there you go. Dominate will go ahead, go down, and put that advantage into Dignitas' pocket. Demon Wall now looking to clear the top wave here before, clear out the creeps before they actually hit the tower. Try and get his farm on, but the harassment from Cutie Pie and Patoy, they've been pushing relentlessly all game so far.
Yeah, and they have a huge early advantage. Legion, they need to snowball the game, but that's going to be near impossible with the early advantage that Dignitas has. And, Scar in the mid lane, he's 20 CS ahead of Kassadin, but then he also has a Catalyst, which is going to give him some nice regen and make him tankier. The regen in particular will help counteract Kassadin's harass, but then also he has a lot of MR, and so the Chalice and just a null magic. So
might as well.
That's going to be huge. It negates so much of Kassadin's damage. He can just stay up to them, have the regen, and just be very passive in that lane while still shutting down Cass's farm.
Yep, and Kassadin, despite dying, still finds the need to actually just go ahead, go back, get those tier 2 boots and some wards. He's backing quite a bit, and it shows in the farm. It shows in the level. Scar has a 2-level lead right now on the Wild Turtle because of just, forcing him out of lane and the earlier death on the Kassadin. So Scar is doing, he's sitting pretty. He's feeling pretty good about himself right now.
Yeah, he's high on life and
yep.
Digging it. The big thing is that auto attack harass. So he's just able to, like you said, constantly harass down Kassadin and then force him out of lane.
Yeah.
Cutie Pie in the meantime is also doing a really nice job in the top lane, and You know, both him and Patoy have looked very strong so far. So it was kind of, I was wondering how quickly Patoy would fit in, because it's a big thing to have a nice relationship in that top lane dynamic, but they're looking perfect. Amumu is trying to set up top, but they did see that Patoy dropped a ward, so we'll see how he, you know, kind of adjusts his route.
So yeah, Cutie Pie still looking for that harass, still last hitting despite being under enemy territory's tower. But Dominate is now looking to camp out bot lane. So you know, good call on him. Might as well just swing this lane even more in your favor, because it's been kind of a no man's land pretty much for a lot of the game so far. But here comes Amumu Latimortis through the tri-brush, going around the long way. Bandage toss, getting something. He's waiting. He's trying to bait something out from Cutie Pie, and there you go. A little bit of weird interaction there coming from the cleanse. Manages to get him away. Latimortis taking the tower for the time being, but here comes Skara. This could be real bad. Through the wall. The ice pick actually follows him despite the flash. Wonderful stuff. The wall coming in. Demon Lull. Another Flash Frost there, trying to make something happen, but no.
Yeah, really nice job forcing him out of there. At the same time, Cruiser was forced out of the bottom lane, so Dignitas able to take down the bot turret. Skarner couldn't quite get in range to throw off the ultimate on the Cruiser, so he was able to back out of there. But 5-0, 5k gold advantage so far.
Yep.
Wild Turtle, not quite as farmed as you would like Kassadin to be.
No.
And you know, it's going to be very difficult because they have a team that needs to snowball in order to win those later fights. Kassadin can be incredibly powerful later, but not at this rate. So we'll see how they can turn things around right now. Dignitas picking up the dragon. The big thing is to just not allow Dignitas to continue pushing. And right now, you know, this bot lane, that actually opens up an opportunity for them. They lose the bot tower, so Dignitas, they can try and snowball that lane, but it also allows Cruiser to zone Vladimir. So Vladimir needs to figure out how he's going to keep farming right now, because he can't farm at the tier 2. That would be just, you know, ridiculously dangerous for him. And so if Crumbs falls behind on farm, that might open up an opportunity for Legion, actually.
Yeah. But I do wonder, though, if Dominate will actually even continue. Though, wait a second there. You got the stun coming in from Sona down onto the Ezreal. Scar is here as well. Can we see another wall? There's a lot of damage going down on Demon Wall. Nice long-range missile from Corki. Will manage to get it done. But Nubish cannot get the rest of the damage down on the Cutie Pie. Double kill going down for that Corki. Very well done.
Yeah, and it's wild that Kassadin is the one with the most mobility in this game, and yet he's never involved in any fights, and Dignitas is constantly roaming around the map, picking up kills, pushing towers.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's just nowhere to be found. So
getting outganked by Anivia there. Right. It's just kind of weird. But
getting a Doran's after a tier, I've actually never seen that build, and it's interesting because Doran's are, you know, they're cheap Rod of Ages basically. It's the exact same item almost. Yeah. But I think it doesn't increase his mana pool, and it's not, you know, the best build, but it will increase his early game. So if he can, you know, use that for nice early game pressure, that could be nice.
But when you see Doran's being built like by someone so late on into the game, I think it's more of an indication from that person. It's like, you know what, I'm in trouble. I need to just buy something, anything, which will just try and put me back into the game. And Dorans are really that go-to item. You know, quick health, you get the quick damage, and you get, you know, just in this case, you also get the mana regen as well, which is something that Kassadin really needs a good portion of, especially if he's using those Rift Walks over and over again.
Oh, the flash from Dominate with the pull. Latimortis dropping immediately.
Yeah, it's Dignitas. They're working on that flawless victory right here. They can go ahead and they can afford to do stuff like what we just saw right there. And they have just pretty much control of all the map here. They're taking their claim on everything. Wards going down now just very deep into enemy territory. I wouldn't actually be too surprised if Dignitas just, you know, started getting their ward coverage up and actually just go for like a 20-minute Baron even.
Yeah, and Dignitas can also push very aggressively against Legion.
Oh, yeah.
The 20-minute Baron might be difficult because it would rely a lot on Skarner to tank. Vladimir would help some. You know, the Revolver would be really nice, but it'd just be kind of risky. And they don't need to risk anything. They can just constantly push. Yeah. They don't need to take Baron, and that's something that's kind of interesting. You used to see teams not going after Baron all the time because it was just the thought, all right, if we're ahead, there's no need to go for it. It's the only possible way for our opponents to come back. And that's kind of the truth right now. Dignitas is so far ahead that Baron is almost the only possible way for Legion to come back if Legion gets a steal or kills Dignitas at Baron.
Yep.
So Dignitas, they can continue to push down lanes. Anivia can control the lanes very well, even offensively. And then Legion doesn't have the AoE clearing to take down turrets, so Dignitas can just keep on throwing turrets, waves into the turrets and slowly poke down those towers.
And then you also have all these members on Legion, which right now, because of the shape they're in, you have Cassidy, who needs to try and free farm to catch up. You have Cruiser, who needs to try and free farm to catch up. You have Mortis, who can't really capitalize on all his ganks because the damage isn't there to back it up. So you have everyone here just like, we need like 5 more minutes in the laning phase to catch up with you guys. And Dignitas is just not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Crumbs is now very comfortable in that bottom lane. The 1 kill was enough, and he's just been farming incredibly well. 142 CS. Despite the early advantages that Cruiser had, his team was able to pull him out. The pressure was put towards top lane because of their advantages there. And Crumbs has been very safe to farm and done a really nice job controlling that lane. And all of Dignitas has looked phenomenal. And now Wild Turtle trying to get ganks off that he just cannot get, and there's just no opportunities for them.
And Crumbs, he can do this, and he can continue to do this because Dignitas has such great ward coverage right now. And there you go. You got the wall coming in on down to Loud Mortis. And was that a DFG? DFG actually being built on Skarner to chunk him out even more so.
Yeah, he's almost trapped. They almost caught it back up to him, but he's able to get out of there. Now Cassidy making the way down bottom one more time, wants to get in on Crumbs. He might actually get it this time. No. The silence dodged by Crumbs, but there is the slow, the ignite as well. Wild Turtle still in hot pursuit. I think he's actually going to be able to get this, but Crumbs with the heal. Top lane, there is a kill. Crumbs does go down. Skarner going to try and pick up Wild Turtle, though.
But because of all that effort, you do have Dominate here trying to make something happen. He does actually get the slowdown on the Cruiser. Means trying to chunk him out here, but Loud Mortis is here to help save the day, and you do have the ult being popped from Yorick to get out of there. But with all of that business being taken care of down bottom, because all Legion was just displaced, Dignitas is top lane and looking to push. They may even get the tier 3 off of this.
They did lose their flawless victory though, but they can push the turret pretty easily. Patoy's ultimate is down. He did use it to take out Demon Law, but they're still getting great damage, and there's just no AoE clearing for Legion. So every wave that happens that's what's going to be happening. Skara almost getting the kill though. One more attack. The ignite. Did he pick it up?
Yeah.
Yes. Inubish goes down
through the wall.
Flash Frost over the wall, then the wall off into his AoE. Really cool play from Skara.
Skara, man, he's doing pretty good for himself, but there you go. Catch onto the Amumu. The ult does go down, only grabbing Dominate there, but the turret will actually be getting that last hit, but Dignitas is still in a great spot here. There's a huge wave that needs to be canceled. Skara getting hit by the Q, by the wave, also from Wild Turtle there, but he'll be fine. Nothing a trip back to base can't do for him. And he's got the Athenes on him also.
Yeah, no, we're seeing people picking up Athenes more and more since it was buffed. I think there was a time when Athenes, it really wasn't really that worth it compared with like an Abyssal Scepter for the MR. If you wanted the Chalice, yeah, you could upgrade, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Now it's becoming more and more of a staple item, so definitely picked up a lot. It was a nice play from Legion, but it was such a monumental effort. So they were able to take down the Oracles. That was huge. So it shuts down Dignitas for a little bit, slows down their push, but an even exchange otherwise, and Legion is just so far behind. You saw it took every single one of their abilities and ultimates basically just to take down Skarner. So let's look at the rest of the team now and how tanky they are and how abusive they're going to be in these fights. Yeah,
actually, he's gotten to the point. Wild Turtle, you see him now. He's got the pick and he's got the rod there, the wand. He's looking to build into a DFG also. But things though, granted, yeah, it does. He does scale an AP. Of course, he's an AP carry, but he needs that extra burst in order to try and be comparable with how much damage he normally would be doing if he's having an okay game. But Wild Turtle getting almost caught out there, almost getting caught in that stun. And there's the Sono ult, and there you go, Dominate. This is just an extra level of embarrassment, extra level of pain going down here. And now all of Legion is split up. Loud Mortis is away from the rest of the team. He got separated out. And Dominate's still doing work despite being caught out. Cruiser in the back. Should be going down. And now Demon Law and Nubish, they have to walk back home with their tails between their legs.
Oh, the flash from Scar to pick it up.
And there you go, Nubish. That is the ace. Dignitas running away with this game.
And perfect kiting from Dignitas the entire fight.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
able to just constantly back up, and that's what their team has. They have great kiting with Sona, the mobility that she gives, but then also the CC from Anivia in order to control the fights. So they know they're incredibly strong. They just constantly cycle their members in and out, which is why everyone got very low with just barely not going down. And then they were able to, just pick people off. So really nice play. 16-2 right now, 13K gold advantage for Dignitas. Just running the gauntlet on Legion right now, and just really impressive play. Scar grabbing another blue. Awesome job walling off just to protect himself, and then he'll be able to get out of there.
And grab Dragon as well. You're here. You might as well get Vlad on there.
Gonna go for it.
They did it last time. They're pretty
Vladimir is
successful.
bought. They know that a couple members of Dignitas had gone back. This is the desperation move.
Oh yeah, but unlike last time though, Dignitas, they do have the area warded this time.
They don't
so
have
they're
enough damage.
Completely aware. There's who's actually tanking it. Wild Turtle, you should not be tanking this, but here you go. Here comes Dominate. Banish toss from Amumu, getting both members of Dignitas there. Caught Ascara. He is egged. It's taking a lot of effort from Legion to go ahead and crack that omelet. Yeah. Dominate out in front, though. Crumbs being exhausted. Nubish is there, caught in the pool, and Dignitas, despite being late to the party, are still able to clean this one up.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough damage from Legion. They were almost able to turn that in their favor. It actually opened up an opportunity. Demon Law with a nice little juke there, going right into the bear pit. Wild Turtle's okay as well. But they were able to burst down Skara and Dominate. So, I'm sorry, who was the second one? I guess it was...
No. Dominate got pretty chunked out.
Oh, but he didn't go down.
He did not go down. He was deep. He was deep into the forest. And Legion, a lot of Legion's effort in that last fight wasn't taking down Anivia. It was taking down Anivia's egg. Because we realized, like, okay, we got all the burst damage we need. We need to get the kill onto the egg in order to actually try and make this worthwhile. And all of that time, all those resources spent, you had a lot of Mortis actually getting out in front of the team to try and, be the point man. But
Skara, after all of that MR that he already has and how tanky he was, he has a Warmogs. He is just going to be basically unkillable for Legion, and that is going to be a serious issue. If they, there's not a lot of options for them. They just don't have enough damage in these fights. They're way too far behind. They can try and stall off, and they desperately want this win, but it's not looking very pretty because it was a monumental effort. It almost worked out for them. They were able to almost pick off 2 members. They just didn't quite have enough damage, like you said, for that egg, and it is going to be even more difficult now.
He's still got that catalyst. Like, was he looking for a rod earlier on? He's just like, you know what? I have way too much money. Rod of Ages,
He just wanted the catalyst for the lane sustain, and then the lane sustain against Cassidy, it worked out well for him. Then he decided, he could have gone Rod, but just didn't go for it. So he was pretty safe. Loud Mortis actually with the Shurelius trying to get in on Crumbs.
Waddle.
He will have the pull, but there's the slow. Can he get it? Crumbs actually not dodging it, but there's the pullback from Dominate. Loud Mortis underneath the turret has to get out of there. Crumbs getting very low, but the Sona ultimate from the side. Corki is coming in to sweep things up. Cutie Pie gets 1 kill, gets a 2nd kill, chasing after Wild Turtle now. The ghost of Demon Law has returned, trying to take down Patoy. Can't quite get it. No, he does get Patoy, but Cutie Pie has the red buff. Will be able to grab Cruiser, the last member of Legion, and then they can push in. They can take an inhibitor. Actually, we'll see. Legion is still pretty low level, so they don't have very long cooldowns at this point.
Oh my god, he's taunting the mid-fight too.
He's not even going for it. He's just taunting.
Yeah, good. Dude, that was all Dominate. That was all Dominate, recognizing Amumu's going in. Here's their initiation, and then just a big nope as he pulls him away from what he wanted so badly with that Shurelius pop.
That fight was just long enough, and Legion was low level enough that they're all back up now at the end of that fight.
Oh, man.
So Dignitas doesn't have any opportunities to pick anything up. But the thing I like best about that fight, we'll see if they go in again, the bandage toss onto Dominate.
No ult to follow it up with this time. He used it there, but Dominate is getting caught pretty hardcore. There you go. The slam with the hammer from Tarek will get that shut down. Shurelius being popped once again. The slow coming in from Wild Turtle. Cutie Pie has no option but to flash out the silence, keeping him from Valkyring away. But there's Riplock with no capitalization, but Ezreal with the shutdown, and the ult will manage to get that one.
Yeah, and the thing I liked best about the fight was the previous fight, not this one. This one, this one was cool because it was the Legion's kind of a comeback. But Crumbs recognized how tanky he was, and he recognized that he could take the bandage toss from Mumu, and he just let it come in. You kind of expect to do the pull just naturally, but Crumbs was like, yeah, come in.
Come on.
We've got this. I'll take you out. You want to go out right now? We'll go out in the streets and handle this like men. So really nice job. Legion, though, capitalizing on the mistake, now only 13K gold behind. They get the turret as well. That actually might open up our opportunity. I think that Dignitas still has this pretty secure.
Oh, yeah.
But staying a little bit too long, all of Legion recalled way too quickly for Dignitas to get out of there, and then chasing them down for the follow-up.
See, now this is an opportunity that Legion has with this gold that they're earning to actually, they're starting to ramp up their damage. You do have Ezreal with the Trinity. He's starting to attack on more stuff. He has the pickaxe. And, you got Cassidy now actually building that damage. He was going for a DFG, but he was like, you know what? I have money now. I can get that needlessly large rod. I can get that death cap. And now with the Ghoul, Legion knows Dignitas is looking to try and finish this Baron. You do have Ezreal out there on the edge. The ult not going to be enough, but no, there is no steal today. Dignitas will secure it. Sona ult, keeping everyone still behind the ridge. And Latimore's caught out on top. There you go, the pull to his doom. Amumu will not be getting out of here alive.
Yeah, a great play from Dignitas, and they know how strong they are. With that regen, they can just push up. Dominate might just tank this. And, he has plenty of health to do it. He is going down pretty quickly, though. Terra gets the stun. Dominate getting pretty low, but we'll be able to back off. Skara trying to just abuse the team.
You take this thing. You got the Warmogs. Just do it.
He's perfectly fine. He's comfortable. He's just sitting back, relaxing with his recliner. They do grab that turret, and they will be able to take this inhibitor as well.
Inhibitor will go down. Ward's going down there from Dignitas as well. You have the huge AoE coming in from Anivia, keeping everyone from Legion away. And the world is Dignitas' oyster right now in this game. Skara, does he have his egg still up? Yes, he does. And we saw what happened last time when Legion tried to crack the egg, but they're still, they got it a little bit too deep, and every time they try and go for those engagements, they're losing more members. Amumu ult is back up. Dominate caught out and back in Crumbs. He's getting pretty low himself. Dominate, can you 1v4? Unfortunately, no. Lattimore is grabbing that one, but here comes PewDiePie with all that damage. Shirley is being popped here from Dignitas. And Cruiser, you're out of here.
Yeah, so PewDiePie with a nice turnaround. At the beginning, Demon Law, even though he was dead, he sent his ghost after PewDiePie to chase him out of there. So he couldn't get the damage that he wanted. So it almost worked for Legion, but they do get the inhibitor. Nexus almost down. The hook in from Lattimore. He gets the bandage toss, trying to chase him down, but they don't have any follow-up. Wild Turtle, if he walks in, he dies, and there's the Soda ultimate, followed by PewDiePie to pick it up. Vladimir actually getting that. But there it is. It's just, even when Lattimore can engage on the team, they don't have the follow-up at this point.
Yeah. Then just, Dignitas, they have an answer to everything at the moment right now. It's like, oh, you're gonna engage on us? Well, we've got an ult just right there, right for you. Lattimore is still trying to get a bandage toss here on a PewDiePie, but there's an escape option. He's got the Valkyrie. He will be fine. Gets on over. And Baron buff is still gonna be on Dignitas for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot that they can do in that time. PewDiePie taking down this bottom turret. They do have the dragon as well. Then they can go back, pick up some gold. Actually not finishing it. One more attack on that. But even so, they're incredibly well farmed. We'll see, how Skara is going to build, because, he's got gold out the game. 11,500. Corki at, almost 12,000 now. All of them are incredibly farmed. 3K gold advantage team-wide. So
yeah, pretty much.
That's a full item ahead, like a finished late game item ahead.
Oh, PewDiePie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that Yumu's. The Yumu's on Crumbs. He just wants to get back out there faster. It also gives them some armor pen and,
the
some
movement
attack speed, the movement speed.
And look at PewDiePie.
Only on melee, though. So
PewDiePie is just buying whatever the hell he wants. He's got a cutlass. He's got a rage blade. He's got a sword of the occult to add the insult to injury. Man, you just buy it. Doesn't even matter. He has all this money. He's like, I can't possibly spend all this money. What else should I possibly get?
With all this gold?
I know. It's like, it's the stuff I don't even want. It's like, I was half expecting him just to buy like a Mage Eyes or something, or a Leviathan. Just like, I got it. Whatever, I'll spend it.
He's still getting damage. These.
Oh yeah.
These are all solid damaging items.
But still, like, to buy a stacking item like 30 minutes in the game is just plain rude. But there you go. You got the Shirley's pop. Stun coming in from Nubish. We'll delay the inevitable here just for a little while longer. The wall making things bad for everybody. All of Dignitas is here. Once again, front door. You got the grab. Loud Mortis. They want to force that initiation. The Sona ult coming on in, and Dignitas is just pretty much cleaning house right here. Patoy is getting low, and Dominate did go down, but there's plenty of damage on Cutie Pie, Crumbs, and Skara to try and finish this one up. Demon Lull just now trying to get out of there. Nice wall placement. Auto attack's going to do it. Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually want to take a look because I think Yorick actually got a couple of kills. Yeah, he grabbed the kill onto Sona there.
Yep.
So nice job from them. But it's funny how strong Dignitas is right now that Dominate is just pulling Amumu into the middle of his team.
Yes.
I mean, that's
how
like,
ineffective.
Yeah.
That's how ineffective Legion's initiation is right now. That the fact that Dominate is choosing, it's like, you know what, we'll give this to you. You take it, please. We don't want it.
But again, really nice play all around from Dignitas. They are looking incredibly strong, and you know, it's been a long time coming. I'll be honest, there's been times when I've kind of thought Dignitas, they thrived on solid gameplay. Skara, can he do it? He's very close. The egg goes off.
There's
he just barely doesn't finish it.
Where's the damage for the egg? Because right now Cutie Pie is trying to plug down that top inhib, and he gets it.
Cutie Pie wants to buy his items.
I think so. Skara there, looking to 1v4. The Nexus is really weak right now too. Cutie Pie, if you can get, he puts the Cutlass. The Cutlass has a use. He actually used it, but yeah, a lot of more just a little bit you know, too hot in pursuit there to go ahead and finish that one off. But still, though, even with all the inhibitors are down, all the turrets are down, it's only the Nexus.
No, that was a throw. Dignitas just threw it. Game's over. Legion wins.
With only the Nexus?
Yeah, they threw it. You know, did you just not see that throw? We'll have to see, though. I think it's funny. Dominate with the DFG, and then the pullback on Demon Lull, picking up the kill. Patoy almost going down, but Dominate is still in pursuit.
Nice.
There's the Sona ultimate, and Crumbs has his AoE now. Cruiser actually probably going to pick up the kill onto Patoy, so Patoy does go down, but there's the kill onto Kassadin. Cruiser is very tanky, but Nubish almost going down, and Loud Mortis actually going to turn this around. This inhibitor is respawning. Crumbs dueling with Loud Mortis, but I'm not sure who's going to win this. Actually, I do know Legion is going to win this because Cruiser has the follow-up. He's going to be able to pick this up, but how much damage is Dominate taking? Scar is just yelling at him in the background. He's like, just attack the Nexus. Come on, end this game already. One more attack. Two more attacks, actually. One more attack. There it goes. Dignitas picks up the win.
Game 3 will go into Dignitas' favor, and they win the series 2-1 here in the IPL Elites. Good job.
2 Warmogs and a GA for Skara.
That's so funny, though.
Yeah, no, he's incredibly farmed.
Yeah.
But the big thing, that game, and it's interesting. I had some thoughts recently. I'm sure a lot of people have. Dignitas for a long time have been, you know, the strongest team in LoL, and then still up there. Back through the fall and early spring, they were probably hands down the strongest team in LoL. They were fantastic. Yeah. They were winning everything. And the big thing is they just had such great consistency. They were a very consistent team with their play. They farmed very well. They played defensive lanes for the most part and farmed, and then they had a tanky late game. And they were one of the first teams to play those kind of tanky late games with champions like, you know, Ryze. And they always had really nice team picks and whatnot, and they were very strong. Then over time, it started to seem like Dignitas, particularly when Voyboy left, they couldn't quite make plays. They weren't a big playmaking team. They were just kind of a sit-back and farm team. And then we started seeing teams like TSM just really dominating. Teams like M5. These are teams that are play-centric. They just run around the map, you know, making things happen. And Dignitas had fallen behind in that regard to a significant extent. They were comfortable with sitting there and farming, and everyone else was running around, you know, making stuff happen. And that wasn't Dignitas' playstyle. Now they're kind of changing. I wasn't sure how much they could pull out. And here, they looked very strong. They're moving into that more modern style where you look to get early advantages, and you're looking to just roam around the map, pick up kills, swap lanes really aggressively, and it worked beautifully. Dignitas, I'm really excited to see them back to form.
Yep, and I think it's really like the big thing with a lot of top teams is that top teams out there, they really are, you know, on occasion in states of flux. You know, it happens with Dignitas. They had a moment. M5 had a little bit of a moment where they're just kind of like, you know, not quite on top. Fnatic also comes to mind, but you know, the fact that you can go ahead and be malleable. Make the teammate switches that are necessary. Make the strategy changes which are necessary. And Batman reference incoming. What do you do when you fall down? Why do we fall down? To get back up. And there you go. Dignitas back in full form here. Good to see them here once again.
Yeah, very nice play from Dignitas. Very cool. Guys, once again, I would like to throw out a reminder, though. IGN.com/IPL. I'm going to that site right now to check out all the cool hot action. And primarily, if you go right on this site, IPL LOL $250 RP giveaway. It's underneath the headlines, and it's 5 $50 RP cards. So check it out. Just click on there, and then you know, I'm sure there's some information here. If it loads for me this time, it's still not loading. Hopefully it loads for you guys. It is. I guess everyone is just rushing on this page. Hopefully, I'll assume it's this computer.
Yeah, and just unlike all of our other giveaways, just like $10 RP cards. Like no, $50 RP cards. I think you might want to go ahead and get on this because $50 is a lot of money, significantly more than 5 times more to be precise. But do absolutely go ahead
and get
in on that.
While you're out on that site, go ahead and sign up for San Francisco Showdown if you want to come out. For Face Off, that'll be cool. You can check out some cool teams. I'm definitely excited for it.
Yep. So I think we're pretty much done for today. As always, make sure you check up on the usual stuff. IGN Pro League, Facebook, Twitter, IPL LOL, Twitch, and YouTube, and also IPL LOL replays. We need more people there. If you want to see your favorite player hit our top 5 lists.
This website is wrong. We need to change the overlays because it is IPL Top 5 at IGN.com. So we finally have a real website, not a Gmail. But IPLtop5.com. I'll actually throw that up real quick so you guys can check that out.
So if you have a player which you're quite fond of, if you say you're a fan, if you watch them stream a lot, then if you see any funny moments, if you see any top 5 moments, let us know. Send us the VOD. Send us the time code. We can get them on there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Send us any stream highlights or tournament highlights or anything. We had a cool weekend this weekend. I haven't finished watching all of the games from ECC Poland and TSM Invitational. I'm excited to take a look at it. But, yeah, definitely, guys. Thanks. Tune in. We will go to a commercial break. Then we'll have a rebroadcast right up for you for this match so you can take a look at it again.
Yep. So, hey, guys. See you next time.